I think we have some guests that are here today and that we haven't had before us. Commissioner Marecki, I had you as a temporary excuse, so you're, yep. If could have Mr. Heath and Victoria Ennis Edwards and Steve Ohm come to the table, and oh, I'm sorry. Let me do the approval of the minutes. Got a motion to approve and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the minutes have been approved. So we'll move on to Mr. Heath, if you'd like to introduce the other guests that are here. I believe it's someone we've been waiting to hear
Absolutely.
from. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to come before you again for the subcommittee. You have been asking over the last several subcommittee meetings to have our business inclusion team present to you on their efforts, and as you know, our thinking had been that bid package 4 was where we were going to see the biggest bang for our bucks, I guess, if you will, and that we wanted to wait until at least we had some. Those bids were beginning to be released, which they are, and we can give you a little bit of a overview of how successful we hope that process to be. We would be happy to come back again months down the road when we can report on actual numbers, but we didn't want the year to end, frankly, without you having a chance to formally meet some of the people that we've been discussing over the course of last several months.
Okay, thank you. I know in particular Commissioner Ware had asked, and I think it's a good time to do it as those bid packages are going out. But I did want to mention at the outset we will not have a meeting in December, and I'll may mention it again at the end of the meeting, but I just want to make everyone aware of that. But anyway, if you'd like to introduce. Sure,
and so hopefully you're not going to make me call everyone's name, but we've got 3 teams here. We have the owner's advocate, representative from MCL Jasco, are here, so I'd like those who are going to speak to come to the table. We do have representatives from Barton Malo as well. Yeah. Oh, if we got enough chairs, okay. We can, yeah. Yeah,
they can take a seat on the opposite side if they'd like, right over there. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And again, Stephen and everybody at the table, thanks for being here.
Do we have enough for it?
We got another one on the end right here. You good?
Okay. And my understanding is that the Barton Malo people have a hard stop. Is that? Yes. Is that right? And so, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, if they could kind of start off with some of their comments.
Introduce yourselves as you begin to speak. Or actually introduce yourselves now and then.
Just chime in if you want to.
Hi, my name is.
You gotta push the button so you see it glow.
Yeah, there you go. Just touch.
Just touch it once. Okay,
yeah,
I'm on.
Light touch.
Hi, I'm Dennis Mitchell with Barton Malo. I oversee our community engagement program, which is supplier diversity and workforce development. So looking forward to bringing more information to you today about some of the efforts that we have corporate-wide and specifically what we've been doing on the CJC project.
Good afternoon, Tiffany Curry with MCL Jasco. I have been responsible for primarily overseeing the outreach activity with the owner's advocate piece of the project.
Good afternoon, Shantae Haggerty with MCL Jasco. I coordinate the introduction of potential partners as well as review potential joint venture agreements and advise on those agreements as well.
Good afternoon. My name is Kathy Ned. I consult with MCL Jasco on this project, primarily responsible for a lot of the digital outreach and forming messaging and other communication aspects with the contractors.
Okay. And before I know Dennis, Victoria Ennis Edwards, Director of Human Relations Division, jumps in with her presentation. What was important for us is that you see the whole team and get a chance to understand the aspects each one is in charge of, and they champion. And understanding it is a triad, and we work together, and everybody has a specific expertise or an area, but ensuring that we're all on the same message and that we're having the same results. And so we wanted to bring that to you. And I know Dennis wants to talk about specifically the Barton Mallow efforts on their end that, again, align with what we're doing, and we all feed each other. And you'll hear some details of that as they go through their overview.
Thanks, Victoria. So I guess I just wanted to first give a little background about myself and my level of expertise. So I've been with Barton Mallow for 7 years, but I've been in the construction industry for 17. I actually started my career at a minority-owned firm, so I definitely understand the importance of having diverse and local participation on projects. Specifically on the CJC project, I'm responsible for identifying the local and diverse businesses, educating them about the opportunities from a contractual and supplier standpoint, as well as guiding them through the process of our bidder requirements, which is the pre-qualification that has been set, as well as participating in post-bid reviews and then guiding them once the contracts are awarded to success to ensure that we're managing any change orders that come through to sustain the goals that we've set forth. In addition to that, I also oversee our workforce development program, which specifically educates people on the skilled trades opportunities in the apprenticeship programs. Again, like I said, I have a wealth of experience, not just locally, but nationally in both supplier diversity and workforce development. And some of the efforts that we've implemented over the last year alone around workforce development has really changed the way that Wayne County looks at the skilled trades overall and the efforts that our industry has put forth. So on the handout that you have in front of you, I just wanted to give a quick summary of the team that I have internally. So there are 2 additional people on the Barton Mallow side that assist with identifying local county-based businesses as well as workforce candidates, and they help walk the companies and the job seekers through the process to get connected under my leadership. My program specifically around local and diverse business participation has been in effect since 1984, but specifically on the CJC project, we made a concerted effort to identify the companies that were not just within the nearby areas of the project site, but all throughout Wayne County. Again, workforce development, we have a series of outreach effort initiatives that have been put in place under my leadership, and specifically November 14th of 2018, we did a big overhaul to promote the CJC project with job seekers at an event called Ready, Set, Build. That was hosted at Cobo Hall. And it actually drew more than 3,000 people to come and learn specifically about the skilled trades in a 3-step process. What we have found is the education of the skilled trades, because each trade has a different level of requirements to enter. By hosting an event like that, we were able to give concise information that any job seeker could walk away and have a clear understanding of how to get connected. But we did more than that. So from there, we've been identifying opportunities for job seekers that attended that event to get connected on the CJC project. We have the Barton Mallow Boot Camp that was actually run this summer in partnership with Wayne County, so SIMCA as well as DESC, the GDYT program, to employ area residents between the ages of 18 to 24 on the project. And here on the handout, you'll see a quick summary of what the boot camp actually entailed, but we're looking to run another series of boot camps over the next 2 years for the project. And the education that people receive, not just by getting hands-on experience, but they also get wraparound services, just everything that's needed to be successful in the skilled trades. So I wanted to highlight not just what Barton Mallow does as an organization, but specifically what we've done in the last year alone around outreach to help get the word out in partnership with Wayne County and MCL Jasco. If you have a chance to flip over to the back, these are statistics specific to the CJC project. We have our goal set at 30% of county-based business participation, and we're already at 95% in contract awards. We are currently in the fourth bid package in our procurement process, but leading up to the fourth bid package, we've been able to award 95% of the contracts to county-based businesses. If you go down to the next section, we were able to break down the hours that have been worked by district. So you'll see how many hours have actually been worked in the different commissioner districts. And
I think you left one out.
so I'm not going to say I left one out. That just means that at this moment, we have not had candidates working hours in that district. So we will make sure. There is a concerted effort moving forward after I received this information. I just started to digest and see where some of the missing or some of the gaps are. So you'll be proud to see the next time that I come before you, there will be participation amongst all districts.
I will hold you to that.
Please do. Please do. If you skip down to the next section, you'll see the level of businesses, diverse businesses that have been awarded. So although there's an effort for county-based participation on the project, just weaved into the fabric of how we do business at Barton Mello, we make a concerted effort to provide opportunities to women-owned, minority-owned, as well as veteran-owned businesses. So this is just a quick snapshot, again, by district. So you see who's leading the efforts. We see who's leading the efforts in this effort, and that means that we've had not just a concerted effort, but clear collaboration across the county, as well as MCL JASCO to provide those opportunities. So moving over to the next section, this is just the county-based requirements or county-based awards. So we did identify an outline on our outreach page. So we have a specific outreach page for the Criminal Justice Center where people can go get the information, identify who they need to contact to get more information, as well as bid information on the project. And as a result of doing so, we did list all of the businesses that were awarded to date by commission district.
See if I could jump in.
Go ahead, Mr. Heath.
James Heath, Commission District 5.
I don't see your district.
In District 5.
That's right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And so, point well taken, Commissioner, and we will, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And so I'll take my comeuppance after the meeting.
So I think that, one, it was important to show where we currently are and see exactly where additional efforts need to take place. I think that it shows that a lot of effort has been put into Commission District 2. But going forward, and that's not a bad thing. That's a really good thing. I could be a little biased because that is my district as well. I don't know. But and to that point, but to that point, we did want to make sure that not just county-based participation was important, but local. So the businesses in nearest proximity to the actual site. So that is another reason why you see a number of awards in District 2. Just again, going back to the breakdown of county, minority, and women-owned, we wanted to show everyone that, again, there has been an effort that wouldn't be able to be possible with just the efforts of Barton Mello. So I'm thankful that we have Wayne County at the table supporting us in those efforts, as well as the staff of MCL JASCO, because we've been able to identify opportunities amongst the different areas that we may not have otherwise been able to do. Again, just a summary, moving on to the last column, summary of the bid packages so that you can see who's been awarded each bid package at the prime level. To date, that's not to say that there aren't other companies at the second and third tier levels. I just wanted to give a quick snapshot at the first tier to show exactly where we are. So yes, you will see that Barton Mello has been awarded several packages, but rest assured that underneath each one of those packages, we have at least 30% of county-based participation for each one of those awards. I work directly with our self-perform team to ensure that that happens, and we've been able to exceed it in each case. Shark Tank forum. So just talking about how we get the word out and how we educate the business owners on getting connected. Outreach events are great, but what I found in my experience is that one-on-one time is needed for not just myself to learn about the business, but also our project team. So we took a different approach, and I'm happy that the CJC team supported me in this idea of implementing a Shark Tank approach, where businesses were able to come in for 20 minutes at a time and get FaceTime with the project team so that they can ask questions, learn more specifically about the intimate details of the contractor or supplier, and then identify where they could fall in the bid process. That forum actually has gone over very well. We wanted to make sure that we did it specifically for bid package 4, since that is the largest package that will be awarded. And the feedback that we've received, not just from the project team, but from the contractors and suppliers that participated, has been well received as positive. We do have more efforts to keep going, but I did want to share as well that we have made taken a different approach to how we look at outreach with supplier diversity and engaging county-based businesses. And the last section is just a short highlight of one of the businesses that are working on the CJC project. This is Row Trekking, Rhonda Rowe, and I'm proud to say that we've been able to help her grow as a result of this project from not just $500,000, but to $5 million in just a short period of time. And her growth would not have been possible without the Criminal Justice Center project. So I'm thankful that we've been able to affect economic development in not just District 2, but Wayne County overall. So as time goes on, we do have additional companies that we've interviewed and that we have profiles on. We have a communications team. I have a communications team that will be on site starting January 1 to interview not just the business owners, but as well as the local residents to get their take on how we're performing on the project.
Very good.
Thank you.
Who's next?
If I could just even lay out some groundwork for MCL Jasco, because I think that's a new actor in this that the commission may not have been aware of from the very beginning. One of the things that was important to the county executive is that folks throughout Wayne County and surrounding communities knew that if you wanted to be involved in the project, that you would have an opportunity to do so. And frankly, we've been very happy with the work that Barton Mallon and Dennis has been able to perform. But early on, we wanted to have an advocate who would kind of push that idea. And so in speaking with the developer, speaking with the general contractor, it was determined that MCL Jasco, a company with significant experience in the contracting and supplier arena, would come aboard and be a member of this team and really kind of push that out, whether it's making sure that potential vendors knew about the project and how to get involved, whether it's development of the sort of skills that they needed to be competitive in terms of their bids, or communicating with stakeholders and getting that information out to the general public. And so we're happy that MCL Jasco is a part of this team, and that's why we affectionately refer to them as an owner's advocate, because they are pushing that every single day and have been a part of that. So
I'd just like to say one comment at what Barton Mallow is doing, and this whole project means to the apprenticeship programs and the pre-apprenticeship training. The boot camp, I think, is it stands to improve the whole area for a long time by providing skills and trades that young people will, especially young men and women of color, to be able to get that training. And it's going to be something that'll last way beyond the completion of this project, and I think it'll benefit everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could, real quick, two things. One, just if I could beg, I want to make sure that Barton Mallow has an additional hard stop. I want to make sure the questions for them are answered so they can move on their way. But also, I just wanted to help just highlight a synergy that we have going on with this. So the Shark Tanks were new and unique, but not only from that piece, being able to get them, talk to them, understand the nuances, and really ask those questions for those businesses, we were also able to find some of the, for example, disparities or where they needed development. The next feeder part to that, and I know MCL Jasco is going to talk about that, is the ability to help matchmake, as well as if there was a gap, whether it be, I don't have insurance or I need an agreement written. There was a way to keep that momentum moving, and that's why we always talk about it as a tandem and a triad, to be able to do so. Then teasingly, I will say this, and I'm sure Commissioner Clark Coleman will smile on this one too. With Road Trucking, as well as a couple of others, she's one of our AC and one of our DBEs that we certify, and we've been working with. So being able to feed each other, knowing we had a DBE, feeding it, and then them being able to do it, and then watch what MCL Jasco is able to do with that and taking them to the next level is something that I really want to just continue to highlight and see. So that's my little 2 cents, and I'm not sure.
I'll go to Commissioner
Yes.
Clark Coleman.
Yes, ma'am.
Did Barton Mallow?
Pull your mic down a little bit.
Did Barton Mallow? Were they the ones that hired MCL? No.
No.
Their contract is with Rock, the developer. MCL Jasco's is.
MCL Jasco.
MCL Jasco's contract is with Rock
With
Developer.
Rock.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. And they are the advocate,
Owner's advocate, that's correct.
owner's advocate,
Yes.
meaning Rocks.
Meaning county owner.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're, and so that relationship sprung out of, frankly, our continued conversations with the developer Rock, that, we wanted to make sure that the services that they are providing, got out there. And so, as you know, there is a neutral compliance party, and their job is just to kind of count the numbers and the like on the project. But we wanted to go beyond that, and so we worked with the developer, and they saw the same need, and they brought MCL Jasco into the fold.
Okay, so did you have any input into that?
We did. And the most important, the most important
I wasn't gonna say
influence
that
we had on it
publicly.
was recognizing the need for it, frankly.
Okay.
Right. Any other commissioners at this time? Yes, Commissioner Ware.
So,
Thanks. I'm sure you thank her.
I'm the one that kept fighting for them to come and give us this good information.
District 2?
Yeah. Who would like to be next?
That would be me. Thank you.
Yes.
First, we'd like to, on behalf of MCL Jasco, thank you for inviting us here today so we can talk about our role with the Wayne County Criminal Justice Center project and some of the activity that we have been doing for the past year. First of all, though, I would like to tell you a little bit about MCL Jasco. It is a Wayne County-based, 100% minority-owned, 100% disabled veteran-owned business. It is a family of about 5 separate companies that that operates in 3 spaces: automotive, in the energy efficiency space, as well as government contracting. We've been around for about 40 years. And we do a lot of work in the city, and we have offices in 8 states. Offices in 8 states. So we, as was just discussed, we were contracted by Vet Rock as the owner's advocate. There is a stated goal, of 30% Wayne County-based contractors to be engaged with the project, and that's our chief responsibility, is to identify Wayne County contractors who were both bid-ready and those who were not bid-ready. And just to remind this body of what bid-ready means, they had to have 3 years audited financial statements, had to be Wayne County certified, line of credit, union signatory, 3 years OSHA if they have 10 or more employees, signed surety, 3 years work comp, qualified with Barton Metal, and they had to be bonded, which is a lot for some of the smaller contractors. And our job was to help them get up to speed and be able to bid on this project. For those who were bid ready, we worked with them to make sure they knew about the project and the opportunities that existed in lockstep with the rest of the team, that being Wayne County and Bartonello. And we directed them to Bartonello's portal, where they had to find out what all it took to be able to receive bids, and they were able to make sure they went through that process so that when bids came out, they did receive them. For those who weren't bid ready, we actually had them come to technical assistance workshops that we did. We went through steps to find out where they needed help. And we have several attorneys on our staff. We have people on our staff to help, but for the most part, we engaged a series of other services in like legal, insurance, bonding, to help them get bid ready, to counsel them, and to help them where they needed it so that they would be bid ready. So we either assisted them directly or indirectly with this help. We also hosted technical assistance workshops. We did more intimate roundtables where they actually came to our office in one of our conference rooms. We had smaller groups that engaged with us. We were able to talk to them and bring experts to the table to tell them where they needed help. They also had the opportunity to meet others who did what they did and to actually build some synergies that way. We had open houses, and at the open houses, we had stated hours that anybody can drop by, because as we know, contractors are busy people, and sometimes if you just select one date and one time, they may not be able to come. So we had like weeks where they could come between 9 and 5 anytime that was convenient for them, and we would sit down with them one-on-one and actually talk about the things that they needed help with, guide them to the resources, or help them directly if we had the capacity to do so. And then we even did one-on-ones where appointments were made. I think when we were looking through a lot of the correspondence that happened, there was over 600 emails that came into our office where we actually corresponded with them via email, via telephone. They dropped in. So there was a lot of hand-holding, a lot of interactions with the contractors. Mainly we worked to forge partnerships. So where people didn't have capacity, we looked for others who might have had capacity and tried to get them to work together to bid on the package together. In these areas, we would match smaller contractors with larger ones, or those who were not county-based with those who were county-based. We did a lot in that area, and each situation really was actually unique as to how we were able to help them be able to bid on the project. I don't know if we want to pass out our...
We do.
Okay, good. Some of our outreach activities included building a website where we can actually collect a lot of the data that came in. So right now we have a website of 1,500 actually smaller contractors who we have either been able to help be ready for the bid process, or we're still helping them as this goes on. There we have contractor profiles, and they're able to go on there and see where they can get resources on their own anytime during the day. We did a social media campaign where we sent pretty much a Facebook ad or social media ad out to the public. That did get, on several occasions, like 300,000 impressions. So we really spent a lot of time trying to make as many people as possible aware of the opportunity. We did e-blast, and actually with that database of 1,500 that we have, we can send them a message at any time. Within minutes, we can send them a message letting them know what's going on. There was a lot of outbound telephone calling. We worked with the contractor associations. Actually, several of them gave us their actual membership book, and we actually went through and called each one to let them know about the opportunity. And lastly, we did radio advertising and some print advertising. Like I said earlier, we did technical assistance workshops, contractor roundtables, focus groups. And I say focus groups because we wanted to know from them what they thought we can do differently or we can add to help them with what they needed. And we did community events. One-on-one meetings, telephone conferences, email exchanges, and ongoing consultation. So next we're going to talk a little bit about some of the partnership highlights that we had, some of the groups that we were able to forge together, and to talk about that is my colleague Shantae.
Good afternoon. So definitely some of the highlights of our outreach efforts have been our matchmaking. We've been able to introduce several contractors to one another for potential partnership opportunities. I'll just go over some of the highlighted partnerships that we made. We were able to facilitate the introduction of an Oakland County-based security company with the Wayne County certified company. They have entered into a formal agreement to bid on the jail project under the security bid, under the electrical bid. We were also able to identify an all-woman-owned partnership. They specialize in specialized lockers, gun lockers, and things like that. There is a Oakland County-based company and a Wayne County-based company and a woman-owned labor construction company, and they've come together to form a partnership. They're actually here today. They're in the audience, but they're the only woman-owned partnership that we have, and we're very proud of what we've been able to accomplish with them. We've also done a number of other introductions, but those are a couple that stand out. We also were able to introduce an elevator interior and maintenance service company to the elevator prime, Tyson Krupp, and they were able to get a subcontract under them. So definitely matchmaking has been a highlight of our efforts.
So once you get by, and you can read these at your leisure, we have like 9 different examples in the handout that we provided. We just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the results that we're aware of to date. As you know, the publicized value of the project was $533 million. Bid packages 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the ECI portion of the project adds up to $183.4 million, and we provided a little breakdown for you in the packet of some of the successes as far as the bid packages. So the ECI portion was $90 million. Barton Mallow is already is self-performing a portion. Bid package 4 is a big package. It's $45 million that's coming out, and there we expect to see a lot of traction with a lot of the contractors. And it also shows you what has been contracted to date. And on the very next page, there's kind of a breakdown of each of the bid package. In bid package 4, we do know that 70 contractors have been, did bid on that. We're proud to announce that we were able to contribute like 30 of those that probably would not have bid on this project otherwise. And as time goes on, those awards will be announced.
And just to give you a little bit of what's going on with bid package 4 to piggyback. They have just, remember, that's the one that I said was so big. If you think of it like a book, there was 14 chapters, actually 15 chapters in the book. They were literally just through the first 3 chapters getting the bids out to the streets. If you see me flying down the halls or from the parking structure, I'm there, Tiffany is there, Shantae is there for the post bids where they're going over the bids that these firms have submitted just for the breadth of these first few. So we are just in the throes. They're probably not going to really award till about Christmas or right after Christmas, but the first few phases are going in, and proudly to be able to see the difference of the vendors that are coming to bid. You're seeing more of the Wayne County, you're seeing more women-owned, we're seeing some more minority-owned, and it's not just with bid package 4. At the same time, the subcontract opportunities for the early contract engagement are going on as well. And then again, a lot of the partnerships and a lot of the prep that MCL JASCO was doing in preparation for bid package 4 has been able to trickle down into also the subcontract opportunities within the ECI. And when we use the word sub, it's because they are under the larger prime, but the reality is a lot of those are in the millions as well. So just because it is a subcontract does not necessarily mean that it is minuscule, but understanding right now we are in the throes, and you will see that probably through about February, where they just continue to let them. So every time, a few months at a time, you'll see more and more happening as far as being able to tell you more of the awards. And we are looking and praying and working really, really, really hard. We've gotten to know each other really well as we go through every single bid package to ensure that if that package didn't have someone literally calling and scouring to make sure we did have a Wayne County business or woman-owned or minority-owned business that we could then recommend.
So we should see many of these bids probably in the January meeting even.
Yeah,
Some of
at
those.
least letting you know the letting. And so we're hoping by the January meeting, maybe we'll have the one or two, the first awards from the very first. So just think of it like every month, it's going to be a wave of a new one let and then the award from the one before. So we're hopeful that really, by the time we're seeing March, April, we're really looking at being able to say, here's some really good additional data.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone else that wanted to present? No one else? What are we looking at? I guess if there's no other questions for our guest on the left side of the table, on my left, we can dismiss them because I know there's some that have hard engagement times, I think, that they have to be somewhere unless there's commissioners have any questions.
Just want to say
Commissioner Ware.
thank you, because, I didn't know what James and Victoria was doing. I kept saying I needed them to give a report so we could be updated on what was happening, especially District 2. So thank you for coming
Thank
in.
you.
You can.
Yeah, what district?
Thank you very much for
coming
being
in.
here.
I appreciate the report. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. I did want to move on to Mr. Heath and everyone on the right side, on my right side, to ask a couple of questions. I wanted to find out where we stand with the CUP, as how much of that construction has been completed, or has it been completed?
No
I didn't think
construction.
so. No construction.
No construction to date. What has been happening is that we've been working first, and you remember our conversations about the lines
Right.
needed to be laid to the CUP from the downtown and midtown area. So that process is in its infancy stages already. They have begun to look at identifying some of the contractors who are going to do the work
Okay.
with respect to the central utility plant. But if you were to go to the site now, you would not see a groundbreaking of that so far. But the work, as you can imagine, I think last week, or rather last month, was the first time you saw vertical movement on the entire CJC site. And so I would anticipate around about the first, second quarter of next year. Steve, when do you think we'll actually be able to see construction activities with respect to the central utility plant?
They actually will start pouring foundations quite soon.
Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, because I remember you said there was a timeline that had to be done before it would hold up the whole project.
So right, and so that's the lines that I'm talking about.
Okay.
And so thankfully the commission approved that contract in addition to the overall CUP, and so that's allowing us to start running those lines to the CJC site to link up with the CUP, so that when the construction progress meets there, you'll be able to flick a switch and have power.
Right.
And so to continue on with construction. So
Okay.
that process is ongoing.
And I believe you've met with our finance person, Mr. Abbo, about the contingency fund balance, and has that happened? I didn't get to ask Mark that.
So, and I'll let Mark weigh in on it. So I think we had a very productive meeting with both Mark and Felicia, and we kind of talked about an overall framework of how things might work if we move forward, and we did provide to them some of our thoughts on that general framework. I think we're going to be scheduling another meeting so we can discuss that. So I'll leave it to Mark to inform the commission of kind of our thinking about that. But from our perspective, I think it was a very, very good and productive meeting, and I think that we're hopefully going to be close to a resolution that will make this process a much more efficient and well-informed process going forward. So, Mark?
Excuse me, Mr. Heath is correct on all points. We did have a very productive meeting. And in addition to discussing how we would deal with those additional costs, we also spoke to the document in front of you regarding the status of costs. But Regarding the processes going forward, we have not yet had a chance to respond to that yet, although they did give us a framework. So we will be meeting with them in the future, and we will finalize a plan. But again, I thought that the meeting was very constructive, and I have no doubt that we will find a way to make it happen.
Okay, thank you both. I think the budget template, is it being used now? Because I'm trying to remember if the last one we got didn't seem like it had everything in there, but okay, all right, okay.
So this was, Mr. Chairman, this was the first month that we were able to
Okay.
fit the budget information into the template that we had discussed.
Okay,
So
good.
And if I could speak to that, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
When this was first given to me several days ago, I did comment that what I would like to see is, rather than talking about just change orders that have been approved and what the remaining project cost is, if we could have an indication of any costs that we believe that are going to be incurred that have not been elevated to the stage of a change order as of yet. Now, when I saw this, and the only chance I had to see it was first thing this morning, I noticed on the lower left-hand side, they have pending potential change orders, and I don't know if that's a response to the query that I made to Mr. Heath, but somewhere I would like to see that. Things that have not been elevated yet to the change order, but we still believe they may be a cost, or that there's a potential that they may increase the cost.
So the privacy screens that you see there is what we've been discussing, and that $30,000, that is in response to your query about that.
Okay.
And so yeah, that is there for that purpose.
Is that satisfactory? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could have it in different ways, either incorporated in the base analysis or indicated below, and I'm fine with either as long as it's understood by the committee.
Okay.
So put another, I mean, there's not another set of costs that we anticipate at this point that is not presented on this sheet.
Very good.
So you said the meetings are continuing on the change orders and how that process is and determining.
That's right. And so our hope is that, part of the meetings that we had with Mr. Abbo and Ms. Johnson was to talk about a process for ferreting out potential change orders. And so our hope is that as we kind of solidify that framework, that, that process will be a smoother one.
Okay.
But I mean, as I've said, what we will always do when we appear before you, when we have an inkling that there is a potential for a change order, we will bring that to you, and I will highlight it. The last thing I want you to do is be surprised by something. And so you'll recall several months ago, I said we have a privacy screen issue we are discussing. We don't yet know the full amount, but this is what it is, and it's out there. And so we will put that on the sheet for you to see on a monthly basis. But also when we return to this committee, we will say this is something that's being discussed, and it may become an issue down the road. Whether we'll actually materialize into a change order is we can't say, but
Okay.
We don't want you to be surprised by anything here.
Okay. Last question I have is, since winter seems to have moved in on us a little quicker than we expected, I think we went almost from summer to winter. Is there any expected delays? Because, I don't think there's a hard frost or a hard freeze yet on the ground, so they're able to continue working until that happens, I assume. Is that not correct?
Steve?
Steve?
I don't anticipate anything to slow down the progress. I mean, the schedule was made understanding we were building in Detroit, Michigan,
Right.
and that this work we're doing now would be in the winter. I was saying earlier, I was watching a steel worker up on top of some steel about 4 stories high out in the middle of a beam. It's cold and windy, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to be up there, but they continue on.
Yeah. So as far as footings and concrete, I'm thinking of specifically, is there anything that has not yet been done that will likely be affected by weather?
Nothing in the ground is going to be affected at all. They'll still be able to excavate and pour concrete for foundations, no matter what the temperature is or
Oh, really?
the frost, yeah.
Okay, I assumed that would have an effect on it. Well, good. It's good to hear.
We're waiting for the official word about the frost in the pavement, underneath the pavements, that will could affect us with precast delivery, but that has not happened yet.
Okay. So what is the projected time of the precast deliveries? Can they put them on site somewhere and then or is it a matter of receiving them?
Well,
From the-
as I understand it, the major highways are not affected by this regulation.
Okay.
It's when you get to the local roads that start to affect those weights. So we expect to see the first delivery of precast within the first 2 weeks of December. So you'll see steel going up and you'll see precast going up at the same time.
So the freeze and thaw issue is not a problem with any of the roads that are bringing anything in there? Because I thought there was some county roads, like interstate roads.
There is. They get the precast all the way from the plant to about 1 or 2 miles from the site. And then they hit the local roads. They'll have to figure out how to get it to the site.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. I don't know if any other commissioners have any questions or comments. Okay.
I just wanted to make one quick note. There was a video we were trying to play, but we're having issues with the Wi-Fi.
Right.
So we're going to forward that video. It's from Barton Mallow. It's the boot camp, and it gives more information. So we'll make sure that you get it to be sent to you directly so you can play it.
Very good. I appreciate it.
All right.
And thank you, all three of you. And I think it was a very informative meeting with finding out about the contract letting and that. So I'll move on, Madam Clerk, to the next item.
E, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
Are there any other such matters? I don't have any in front of me. Are there any, I guess the next thing on the agenda, sorry.
Public comments.
Any public comments? Anyone from the public wishing to make a comment? Miss Faith. Miss Faith. Good afternoon. Good to see you. Would you pull the mic down closer to you, and maybe, Jay, if you'd help her turn that on.
It's on.
It's on? I think it is, yeah, because, yes, ma'am. Yes, you could tilt it up like to your mouth. That'd be great. Yeah, thank you.
That may help me.
Yep.
Welcome to this honorable board. I've been missing coming to your meetings lately and for quite a while, I would say, because of health challenges and other different things that have been coming up. But from what I've heard, that y'all are still doing the same good job that you always have been doing. I'm backing y'all up in the good things I do see y'all doing 100%.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I just really appreciate every one of y'all. And then we was talking in the meeting about the officers who have lost their lives in Smith, and that really saddened by, because they are our sword and shield.
Yes.
And they really have a very thankless job, but they're doing outstanding work. And that's all I've seen for years and years and years. And that's why I advocate the work that they're doing. And my condolences to anyone who have had any officers that in their families that have passed away on the job, and any other family members that I heard about. And you have my prayers for your family, for the grieving family members.
Thank you so much.
And y'all keep doing good, outstanding work like you always have done. And the different things that people are coming to present there for the resolutions, consider them carefully like you do, and come up with the resolutions that the best possible.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate everyone.
Are there any other public comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk,
Adjournment.
move to adjourn. I got a motion. All those in well, I guess I can just do this.
It's
so hard. It's so hard.
But I am coming for Tuesdays.
Your training?
I always do the.
Yeah, I helped run the buoy.
Yeah, I remember the buoy. I received a.
But I'm coming to meeting Tuesdays.
Who's that lady?
We have to
Jay, by the way. I work for Commissioner Andy, chair of the